Welcome to the Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast once again. I always find these gems online, and I always want to give credit where credit is due. And this is by Yasmin Cheyenne on Instagram. And I wanted to read through a couple of these slides because we've all kind of dealt with things, especially when we're talking about resentment or having regrets or whatever the case may be. But let me read through these and hopefully it helps somebody out there. The freedom and joy you're seeking is waiting on you to make room for it. Your preoccupation with resentment is taking up too much space. Letting go doesn't mean they get to get away with it, but you do get to be free. You think they're paying the price because you're still angry about what happened, but it's your energy, relationships, and well-being that suffer. Let them know or let it go. You're spending too much energy holding grudges. Let them know how you feel or let it go. And I gotta tell you, this is something that I think all of us have dealt with at some point in our lives. I definitely know I have dealt with that. And the thing is, we hold on to these grudges. You know how we're silently in argument with someone, which always amazes me all the time when I see people doing this. They're in an argument or disagreement with someone who has no clue that you have this vendetta of an argument going on. And it's just ridiculous to me. It's either you sit down with the person and say, hey, this is how this situation or whatever made me feel, and so that you can move on and let it go. And I realize that sometimes that's not even an option because some people really don't care. They'll just be like, well, that's on you. I said what I had to say. I said what I said, When you run into people like that or you think the person is going to be that way, sometimes you just have to move on and move past the situation, because there's nothing more disappointing than someone who doesn't have any accountability. And we all know in this world there are people who will never, ever admit to the wrong that they have done. They will never admit that they hurt people. And anytime you have a person that apologizes to you and says, I'm sorry if I hurt you. No, apologize for the thing you did. Name it. Say it. Because that's the only way that apology, for me, let me just preface this. For me, the only way an apology is going to be accepted from me is if you name what you did and you apologize for the thing that you did. Okay? That whatever that thing was, whether I heard you talk about me, whether you did me dirty to my face or behind my back, or however the situation is, you need to name the thing, whatever it is, and apologize for that thing. Otherwise, I can pretty much tell you, no apology will be accepted on this end. Now, I don't always have to talk about it. I don't always have to mention it. I don't do that. I'm not that person. I'm more of they're in their space and let me just keep it moving, But I definitely, if I don't feel like I can speak to them, and sometimes there are people that don't even deserve your conversation. My sister had to remind me of that the other day when there was a situation where I felt like I needed to address it. And my sister was like, why? Because honestly, that individual is never going to be accountable. That individual is committed to believing that you are the issue, even though I had done nothing to this person. This was a person talking crap behind my back, thinking that I would never find out. And I'm like, why? I don't even talk to them. It's probably been months. And I don't talk to them because we're not speaking. I don't talk to them because we ain't really connected like that. So why do you feel the need to talk about me? Why do you feel the need to say something adverse? I'm not even in your life like that. But sometimes people just see what you're doing from afar, or they may see certain successes, or they just see something, and it just irritates their spirit. Some people are irritated that other people like you. You ever get that? That's so weird to me. Some people are just irritated that other people gravitate to you for whatever the reason. Some folks just don't like the fact that other people like you, which is super weird to me, but okay. So when my sister, really yoked me up and was like, why? You saying something is never going to be enough for that individual. And they may end up calling you a liar anyway, so why bother? They're not even connected in the mind the way that they should be. And I said, you know what? I said, the young grasshopper schools the old grasshopper. Okay? I said, you know what? You are so correct. And in that moment, I was free from it because it really was a situation that bothered me. And I said, I need to address this because they cannot do what they did and think that they're going to get away with it. But you know what? The misery is already within them. So I'm like, why am I worried about this? But sometimes it takes that outside person to look at the outside of the situation, to look at it and be like, girl, dial back. Is not worth it. And she was so right. So either you're going to confront the situation or take a step back and really think, is it worth it? And if it's not worth it, let it go. Keep it moving. Because I have surely had to learn to let things go. And sometimes if you're waiting for a proper apology, it may never happen. So what are you going to do when that happens? What are you going to do? You're going to fester down in there. The person never apologized. And they never... Child, that person is living their best life. They ain't worried about you. So what you got to do is worry about yourself. Get in your lane and do what you have to do over here. Because chances are, whatever they got going on, it ain't never going to be enough. They will forever be plagued. They'll never show you that on the outside. They'll make it seem like everything is fine. But they will forever be plagued. Let them. Because anybody who doesn't do right by you will never be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be the color purple spirit fingers. Until you do right by me. Yeah, it's going to be one of those. So anyway, like, share, subscribe to this podcast because there's more where this came from. I'm very frank on this podcast. I speak from the heart. And even on situations that I've personally, dealt with myself, no, I don't throw people under the bus and name names and all that kind of stuff like that. That's not necessary. The book will come later for that. No, I'm joking. I will never do that. That's not how I roll. But I do tell real personal situations that I've been in because I feel it's real. It's a real situation. So I know people that are listening may identify themselves in the story, and that's okay. That's all right. But yeah, like, share, subscribe to this podcast. Connect with me over on my Instagram at Onyx Queen Media. We are growing this podcast. And I want to make sure that this last quarter of the year for this podcast, I just wanted to take another turn so that when we go into 2023, there is even extra and new, coming for this. So I will talk to you guys soon. Actually tomorrow, because this is a daily podcast. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, all right? Bye. Online savings simplified. Don't search for coupon codes ever again. With one click, Honey's smart shopping assistant will automatically apply discounts to your cart in seconds. Save on all your favorite things. Easily pay less for products you're already buying online. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Join Honey for free. It takes 2 clicks to add Honey to your Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Opera browser. Find savings in seconds. While you shop, Honey will find working promo codes across the entire internet, and you save instantly. With one click, Honey will apply the best deals to your cart. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Get Honey. Download it today. Visit our link, www.tinyurl.com/ONYXHONEY. That's www.tinyurl.com/Onyx Honey. Start saving right now.